Welcome to Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin.
I'm Penelope.
I'm Justin.
And we're here to talk about toys. So we've got Penelope and Justin back from Farpoint Toys. You guys were a hit on the previous episodes. We've had a lot of people saying we got to bring these guys back.
We had such a good time. Thank you for bringing us back.
I think
Absolutely.
that we have such a good time that it shows. It transcends to people.
Yeah,
so.
people can really tell it. And the funny thing is people are making these comments. We were already talking about the next episodes because of the kind of the topic for today.
Yep.
It was already in the works. So I was really excited to see people commenting and saying like, hey, when are they coming back? Knowing that
we had this
it's coming.
planned.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that people like us.
Yeah. Oh, geez. If they only knew us for real.
Oh, stop.
No.
All right, so our news segment. You guys have just gotten back from a cross-country toy collecting trip.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Our store is located right on Route 40 in Mays Landing, New Jersey, which is right outside of Atlantic City. Route 40 is an old historic road that originally ran from Atlantic City all the way to San Francisco, California. So Justin has had this idea for a while.
Well, before the, not to get too in the weeds with this, but before the highway system, the transcontinental highway that, happened in the 50s, there was, smaller roads. Everybody's seen the movie Cars.
Yeah.
I mean, basically what happened is there used to be Route 66, Route 40 that ran across the country, and they were like 2-lane highways. And then the interstates came and killed those highways. Well, Route 40 was one of those highways. We didn't know it until we got the property, and we kind of looked like, what else is on Route 40? Oh my God, it used to run all the way to San Francisco.
Wow.
I wonder what else on Route 40 is cool.
So we went out and found out.
Yeah. So we flew to San Francisco and drove home on our little Route 40, finding little treasures on the way, finding other. We only ate at mom and pop small businesses.
Okay.
We when we stayed in hotels, we tried to only stay in corporate, type hotels. That was tough because, it's tough to do that.
Yeah.
But we had a great time and saw some things. Everybody in their lifetime should drive across, if they are living here in the States, should drive across the country once. I want to see it all again, except maybe Kansas.
Yeah, and Reno, Nevada, I could do without.
That's because we live near Atlantic City, and Reno's like
kind of a
Atlantic City without a boardwalk.
Yes, they had mountains and desert instead of a boardwalk and an ocean.
But yeah, Kansas, once you see it once, you're good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If you live in Kansas, Kansas is beautiful. It's just, I'm good.
It's just long.
I'm good.
And
yes, I'm good.
amber waves of grain?
Yes.
That's where they come from.
That's
Right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
They're in Kansas. They're all there.
I love how you had like this clear path because I've gone on a few small like toy hunting road trips, usually like going to a convention or something like that. And it's always you're sort of weaving, trying to hit places you've heard of. And you had this great like straight path and it's like, okay, what's on that road? What's
Yeah.
near
that road?
It was cool to have like there was no stress. Like, oh, there's this place over here. Nope, we're not. We got to stick to the path. But it was a little stressful sometimes. Like we were only sticking to the path.
There was some of that.
Yeah,
I
okay.
got to admit,
Very
like
little.
in California, we went on Route 40 like through Sacramento because it goes through the state capital there. But like just north, about a half hour north of Sacramento, was a store. Hey, let's check this out. So we did veer off and go back, but not to the point where it like cost us too much time.
Too much zigzag.
Yeah, I mean we'd still be out there.
Right.
You know,
you try to hit every place. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
We wanted to visit like people who shared the road with us. And luckily there were many places because Route 40 is still a major, even though in some places it's not even called Route 40. Sometimes it's just like Main Street.
Or like west of Salt Lake City, it's just I-80 now.
70.
It's I-70. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I-70 west there.
Oh no, is it 80?
It is 80.
It is 80. I'm
It is
sorry. And
80.
it's 70 some places. Yeah, it's
You corrected me, and I'm just like,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
yeah. No, it's
70 east of
east of Salt Lake.
Denver.
places in
Okay.
Kansas.
Yeah.
But like it's been decommissioned. It doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore. But we were managed to find the old path and follow.
It was really, I mean, not to get too much. This could be like a history podcast.
Yeah.
Because we really had to go and find places where 40 used to be, where it was
okay.
either moved or decommissioned. Because every time,
It's easy to find sometimes because it's just Main Street.
Okay.
yeah,
in a lot of places.
40 is an old road, and a lot of towns and cities across the country were built around that road.
Right.
But then once the main street gets too busy, because Route 40 is supposed to
It
be
slows
like
down the highway.
right, so they move the highway. So there's a new, they call it an alignment. Boy, we learned some terminology with roads. So the new alignment tends to go around the town. So we had to kind of look at it and be like, okay, Route 40 used to go through. Now it's usually named
Main
after
Street,
a president.
or named after a president, or
Right.
First Avenue, or Broad Street, or something.
So
along
although
those
some of the
lines.
places aren't on what's Route 40 now. They used to be on what Route 40 used to be.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes no sense. Yeah, that's cool.
No, we came across a lot of really cool stuff. I mean,
Yeah, and we we did the investigating as we went. We didn't really pre-game.
Oh, okay. I
We knew
assumed
a
you had it
few.
really mapped.
No, man.
Wow.
there were a few places
It was
we
like
knew.
jazz.
Yeah, there were a
Okay.
few places we knew we wanted to hit, like Super 7.
Yeah.
Who's on a toy store near you?
But not on Route 40.
They're not on 40, but they are in San Francisco,
in
which
San
is where
Fran,
we.
right.
we
But
we're
they're
coming
label
from.
mates. You know, they're
Yeah.
it's funny. We actually managed to label mates as far as they're on toy store near you.
Right.
So we managed to come across a couple places.
Super 7, Toy Fusion.
Toy Fusion, which is on 40, I
Which
think,
is
in
literally right on
Sacramento.
Route 40, 1313 Mockingbird Lane in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
They're literally 30 seconds off of 40.
The only reason to go to Kansas, if I have to say. Lawrence, Kansas is a very cool town.
It's very hip.
It's kind of like Austin, Texas. It's
Okay.
an anomaly in the it doesn't feel like
The rest of the area.
The rest of the
it's
area,
just this
exactly.
This hip little thing inside
cool little
this-
Main Street USA. I don't know if you watched the episode.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah, they're super cool folks. They remind us of us.
Yeah.
You know,
All right. I could totally see that.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice. So our next segment is new to the collection, and Justin brought something with him that he's very excited to share with us.
Oh, yeah. What did you...
It's funny because we should be talking about the things we picked up on the trip.
We will. Talk about this
But
thing.
I've been waiting like 2 years since the pre-order of this.
Have you even opened it yet?
No.
The plastic is still on.
I'm a huge Conan fan.
Okay.
And then this being the Frazetta version of
Yeah.
Conan. And then 112. You mix all these things together because you know 112 figures are some of the best figures out there. The articulation of things they come with. And this being, it even comes with the Frazetta base, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Okay.
really
Yeah,
cool.
I haven't even assembled it
This
or
is
taken it
Mezco,
apart.
right?
Yeah.
And these just came in.
Yeah, it just came in. People are like messaging us like, "Do you have any more of these?" But because they're
sold
one and
out.
done. That's
Yeah,
it. Sold
yeah.
out. So they're super hard to come by. I can't wait to open that.
It's killer how long you have to wait for stuff now. Like,
is.
it's great that you can pre-order it and know it's coming,
Yeah.
but it's also just brutal waiting then. You
You
know?
almost have to pre-order everything to make sure you're going to get it now.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as waiting for something to hit a shelf.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it's like Christmas because you forget you ordered some things. Or once in a while, if you check like, what's updating, what's going on. Oh, my credit card just got hit. What's coming in? It's kind of exciting. I have a ton of stuff pre-ordered. And,
Oh, do you?
and I have money when I order it, but sometimes when it comes around, the money's not there anymore.
And it's funny how it works for different people. Some people would love to pay up front because they have the money then
Yeah.
and it's gone. And other people are always like, I don't have the money now, but I will then. And that becomes like a whole challenge. And some
It's
of
a
these,
juggle.
Some of these places are doing like payment plans now.
Yeah.
And
I try not to pre-order stuff, although you don't even know about this. I did pre-order the set, the Loki helmet set. You get a Sylvie crown and a Loki crown from GameStop. They only made 6,000. I'm waiting for that to come right
I had
now.
no idea about
Yeah, I'm
this.
waiting on that. I was hoping it would
I'm
come
excited
in time.
now.
Pegwarmers
I was
exclusive.
I was hoping it would come in time for this. I should have had it this week. It hasn't come in yet.
Okay.
That's really cool. Yeah, I
gonna-
never pre-order
How
anything.
about the 50 things you don't know I pre-ordered?
Well,
We're
that-
married,
no.
by the way.
Mine was
I know-
only like $100. Yours is I don't even want to know.
My Hasbro Pulse Sentinel I had to get it through Big Bad Toy Store
Okay.
because I missed the
the window?
we missed
Yeah,
it,
the window.
yeah.
So it's still, thank God, Big Bad Toy Store got a bunch.
Yeah.
Because they were still affordable compared to what the secondary market's going to be.
right.
So that just hit, and that's in my pile of loot waiting to be shipped.
I just got a box from Super 7, actually. I got some of the Thundercats Ultimates that showed up. Slithe, Captain Crackers. I didn't bring them with me. I should have. Captain Crackers and Jaga. There's got to be a fourth one in that wave, though. And I don't know why it's not shipping with them. But I
don't remember who it
know
was.
I ordered it.
So now that you
can't
did the
recall.
Thundercats, you have to do the Silverhawks, right?
Oh, I'm definitely doing the Silver
yeah,
Hawks.
because those put together are amazing. I have both waves of Silverhawks, pre-ordered.
I did that as well.
Speaking of Super 7, they were the first place we
Yes,
hit
I'm glad,
Yes.
in San
I'm glad
Francisco.
we're getting into some more stuff here. We bought a ton of stuff on our trip. I just picked a few things that we wanted to bring and talk about. Imperial Dignitary, we did get that from Super 7.
We did.
They have vintage stuff, which I was
I had
really
no
surprised
idea.
to see.
I assumed if they had anything old, it was just be like their product.
They had that as well.
Yeah.
So, if we're going to that topic now, I didn't mean to veer
No, that's
off
all
of Super 7. We were excited to see Super 7, but I knew they were mostly new stuff. And I was obviously having a store. We're familiar with their stuff.
Yeah.
And then we were familiar with the Funko reaction before Super 7 took it over.
And
Right.
watching their episode.
Thank God they did, because they actually used glue on their cards as opposed to the reaction ones that just fall off. So we went excited because we saw their episode of Toy Story U, but I didn't appreciate what they do until I saw it in front of me in a grand scale.
The episode didn't. You can't really tell how amazing it is in person from their episode. The place is just awesome. Literally floor to ceiling, just figures.
It's hard to represent a place on video.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
because I watch a lot of toy hunting videos that people do in stores all over the country, and then if you go to that store, it's always just like. It's a different feeling when you're there and your eye goes to the thing that's interesting to you, not what the camera went to and all that stuff.
That's a perfect observation.
Yeah.
So our friend used to have a YouTube show called Comic Trips. It's not,
I love
not around
Comic Trips.
anymore. I used to love Comic Trips. Paul's a dear friend. When I used to watch Comic Trips, because Paul and I are interested in different things, he'd be shooting a store and breeze by the stuff I want to see.
Wait, what's that? Where did that? We'll go back to that.
And stop on 95 Star
Force.
Wars. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like, no.
That's what he's into, which is fine.
Another example like that, Pixel Dan, who's a toy YouTuber, he has been trying to hit G.I. Joe stuff a little bit more because that's not really his area of expertise, but he gets comments about, like, you didn't even show him. So I've noticed in more recent toy hunts, he slows down on the G.I. Joe stuff a little bit more so people can see what was there.
Yeah, and because it makes it more, everybody has a different eye and they're looking for different things,
Yeah.
so...
But yeah, so the floor to ceiling, just carded figures and all their T-shirts and everything. But over in one corner, they have 2 cases. One of them is one of every one of their figures in a case.
That's cool.
Of the
like reaction style
figures.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a case.
In a case, just loose.
Wow.
And they're set up and they look beautiful.
I've never been that impressed with the reaction figures
They
until
looked
I
amazing.
saw that.
And then next to that, they have a case of vintage because just like, people know they do toys and bring them collections.
Okay.
And they happen to have this imperial dignitary in there. And we
With a good
decided
nose.
with a good nose. And we needed one for the Farpoint Museum. So we decided to bring him home.
He was actually the last... No, we need a Ramba still. We're trying to get these...
Oh, we need a Han. We have his carbonite.
No. Oh, we need Han. We don't have carbonite. We're trying to get these organically.
Yeah.
We're trying to finish the museum collection in the store in a way where we find the stuff or like it comes in. Where I do not want to order it online.
I could go on eBay. I could go on eBay and do it.
But there's something,
do that.
and I'm sure everybody agrees, there's something about going out and hunting and finding the stuff.
Yeah.
Or if it comes into the store.
Yeah.
It's nice when things in your collection have like a story. It's not just like, I ordered on eBay.
Hey, remember we got that at Super
we
7.
found this wherever.
Yeah. What else do we
So
have here?
seeing their stuff, we don't typically carry a lot of new in the store.
Right.
It's tough because you have to wait for it, you pay for it. The profit margins are very small.
Yeah. But we're going to make it a point to start carrying Super 7 stuff.
Absolutely.
Just because of the store was awesome. The guys were awesome. Everything about it was just great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's funny. So like 10 days after we went to the store, we took pictures and did Instagram. 10 days after we go to the store,
we got a message on Instagram from Brian, like, "Hey, when are you guys coming through? I want to make sure I can meet with you."
We were there like
Whoops.
2 Saturdays ago.
It was really great, but you weren't there. I'm sorry.
Super cool. They're great use of space.
Yeah, great store.
Oh, and I got some awesome. They had some like vintage Italian, like foreign movie Star Wars posters.
Wow.
Not for sale, just part of the
just part of the display.
I'm sure everything's for sale. At,
I don't know. Not everything is for sale at our place.
Well, they had just stuff. You know how it is. Some toy stores have some of the same stuff everywhere, but when you start seeing oddball stuff like that, like an Italian Empire Strikes Back poster with like some of the wrong words. I forget.
Yeah, they had the character names incorrect. Like
Okay.
not even
interesting.
translated badly, just the wrong
just
names.
in the wrong spot.
It's just super interesting.
That's weird.
And that's where we started. That was the first place we
San
hit.
Francisco is the first place we hit. Yeah.
All right.
We
What
spent
else we
2
got
days.
here?
So eventually I think we're gonna like write a book. Like
That'd be cool.
I think that
think we
this
should.
trip lends itself to like an advent. Like,
And we did so much filming while we were away. We'd like to do some sort of like
maybe some sort of like
series
3-episode companion thing to the book.
Okay.
Because there's so much to talk about.
We could literally sit here and just take over.
Totally.
talk about all
we could
kinds
go
of dumb
crazy
stuff.
talking about every.
What else do we have
story,
here that we got on our trip? What is that thing over there? Talk about that.
Where was this? Indianapolis? It
That
was TV toys.
It was retro TV toys.
I forget what town
I have it
was
on my
in.
note here.
Or
Hold
you
on.
check the note.
That's
I'll
a huge
check the
jump.
note.
Was there? What else was in between?
Nothing.
Oh gosh,
Nothing.
No, just kidding.
I had to actually make a list.
All right,
this is the entire
California.
list of our trip.
California. Let me see if I remember.
All right.
We started at Super 7.
Right.
And then we spent an extra day in San Francisco because it's San Francisco.
Yeah.
But when do you get the chance to
Did
go?
you get to see like the Bullet Street?
No, I
We
didn't.
visited the Full House house.
We went to the
was
Full
the
House
okay,
house.
that's good.
Because we're nostalgineers.
Yeah.
And we
we
needed.
also we also visit famous graves as like a hobby of ours.
Okay.
Wyatt Earp is buried right outside of San Francisco, so we visited his grave as
Nice.
well.
I saw that you'd posted
Yeah.
that online.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just
just
it
one of the-
can't all be toys all the time as much as
But
it
it's
kind of ends
still
up being
nostalgia and pop
history,
culture.
Yeah,
pop
for sure.
culture.
So it's still in our wheelhouse, I
kinds of
think,
goes
to do stuff
together.
like that. You know, we put our feet in the Pacific Ocean. We watch the sunset because we're living and growing up all our lives
on
on
the East Coast.
The East Coast.
Right.
We never experienced any of that West Coast stuff.
No,
Right.
I'd never seen the Pacific before.
So we ate some cool food. San Francisco's a hip town.
It's very hip,
I said it was crunchy, and she's like, "What do you mean by crunchy?" I mean,
no, you mean like organic. I get it.
Granola.
Like granola, yeah.
everybody's kind of hippie. It's
Yeah.
I think that Haight-Ashbury thing transcends. It's
Yeah.
still lingering. You know
All
what I
right.
mean? But it was cool.
I'm quizzing you.
We
Keep
all
going.
live here on the East Coast.
Right.
Once I started getting away from California, everybody here we drive angry.
Yeah.
We don't
sure.
realize that maybe because we're just
Yeah.
up to here with it. The minute we get in a car, I think I was the only angry driver once I got into like Utah and Colorado.
Justin
like everybody
did
else is like
all-
waving and
Justin did all of the driving. I don't drive.
Wow.
He did all
Okay.
of the
Every
driving on the
mile.
entire trip.
Wow.
prefer it that way.
All right.
Yeah, it's.
I don't mind
I
driving.
drive.
If
Yeah.
I'm on back roads, I hate interstates and stuff like that. But if I'm driving on back roads and seeing things, I'm having a great time. So California, I think our favorite place in California. I don't want to play favorites, right? But the biggest surprise was that place in Maryville, which was is one of the places we went off of Route 40. A
Okay.
little bit.
At Silva's Collectibles in Maryville,
Silva's
California.
Collectibles.
It was sensory overload of the best kind. I mean, we'll talk about the bingo a little bit more, but
Yeah.
we must have found, I think, 5 or 6 things. And one,
They
two,
were heavy
three,
on
4,
Pegwarmers.
5.
Okay,
They
so
had
let's-
5
Yes.
things.
Let's go into that. So you guys
challenged us.
You guys are
Yes.
getting ready to go on the trip, and we were talking about it, and we had this idea of like, there's got to be like a goal or like a thing you're looking for, hunting for, beyond like just the stuff for your collection or the store or whatever.
Yeah.
So I created a Pegwarmer Bingo card.
Brilliant idea.
Absolutely amazing.
And it came
fun.
It came out really funny because we started talking about, well, what are the things do you see at every store, and we just kind of generated this list, and I purposefully placed stuff on the card to try to make it tricky.
You did. You did a great job
because
of
there's certain
placing
things
it.
Really
that you
good
just
job.
always see, and I was like, I don't want them to be.
Yeah.
Basically, the really common stuff I like picked different rows and
did a
different
good job
letters,
at that. You did
a
and
very
then
good
spread it
job.
out because I didn't
Early
want you to
on.
get it right away.
Well, early on, we blasted a lot of them out.
Yeah.
But there was still
It was all
no
scattered.
way to
Yes.
bingo. It was very
Yes.
scattered.
Right.
So you were very good at doing
I think
that.
within the first 3 or 4 stores, we had like 8 or 9 items off the list.
But we were still 2 away
But we were
everywhere because
still
there was
Right.
some
1 or
hard
2
stuff.
away.
Yeah, because I tried to the things that especially some of the things that you guys mentioned that I was less familiar with. I was like, I don't think I see those a lot. Like one of the Barbie things that you had talked about.
I've never seen one ever.
So I was like, okay, that's gonna
What?
go. That's gonna go in
Silva
this.
had one.
no, growing up Skipper.
Oh, I thought Silva
Yeah.
had one.
They-
Oh, no,
they had
that
a
was, we
holiday
didn't see it
Barbie.
growing
Yeah.
up.
Okay.
Skipper.
No.
So I tried to put things in different spots to try to
Yeah.
make it a true challenge.
Yeah.
It was. I was cussing you a couple times.
Well, it's funny that these things were Pegwarmers are not sought after back then, but are crazy rare now. Go find
Go find a growing
one.
up Skipper.
That's what we always say.
You
Yeah.
won't.
Carded Kang is tough.
Yeah.
You know, he might have been a Pegwarmer then, but you know, Kang is a popular character.
Yep.
So
Mr.
so there's not a
Mxyzptlk.
ton out there. Yeah. Well, any carded superheroes, Migos are really tough.
Yeah, and a lot of that things, even if they stuck around forever, eventually they got liquidated. They either got destroyed or they eventually got
Yeah.
into kids' hands and they got ripped open. And
Yeah.
now to go try and find it.
That was another thing. Everything on the Pegwarmer card was mint on card or mint in box.
Right.
Right?
Oh,
Like,
and we had to find it like that.
yes, we couldn't find a loose one and say, oh, well, this is that, because we would have felt that day.
Yeah, it gets too easy that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did definitely try to set it up. So what did you find in that first?
At Silva's.
Yeah.
So
all
at
right.
Silva's, specifically, we found the Xena, the Waterworld Deacon, the Power of the Force Ponda Baba, the specific Holiday Barbie, which
Oh.
was actually, I think, 1997.
Which was funny because you told me just pick anyone, and I just
you
kind of like
picked-
looked on and was like, this one.
Yeah, that's actually the one that I had as a kid, so it's funny
Perfect.
that you chose her. And the Atom with the sled, we found it.
So we were like, oh,
Right.
we spent a lot of time there because we were
lot
like,
of time.
we're going to beat bingo
we've
here.
got to find all the
I think we
stuff.
spent too much
We
time
were
there.
like 2 hours in that store.
Yeah.
It was
Family
absolutely
owned.
amazing. Family owned and operated. Literally, like the kids come in there and work after school.
Nice.
No, every store has its own vibe.
Yeah.
First of all, this is a tiny little town.
Tiny
You would
town.
never think there's a toy
It
store.
was actually, the town itself was discovered by one of the survivors of the Donner Party. We were
Founded.
right outside. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
founded by, I say discovered?
Yes.
Whatever, same same thing. She founded the town after having survived the Donner Party, which was
It's named for her, Mary.
yeah.
It's Mary Hungry. I don't remember her name. Anyway.
No. I'm just gonna glaze over that. And
The
let it
vibe
go.
of the town is when some of these tiny little towns you could see that it used to be a frontier town. It's still set up that way.
Yeah.
When you go down Main Street,
Yeah.
the buildings, you could see where you would hitch horses to it.
Some
you know
of the
what I
places
mean?
even still have the horse hitches.
The
and stuff
building
like that.
they're in
Historic, right?
is
Yeah.
a crazy old. It was like a hardware store or something.
Okay.
Like building. You could tell the building is old.
Yeah.
But it lent to the,
unique
the unique vibe of the place.
Right.
Some other places we went to were the typical inside of a strip mall kind
And
of
there's
thing.
nothing wrong with that.
We literally visited 100 toy stores.
Oh, I don't think it
Between
was 100. It
toys,
was a
comics,
lot.
video games,
Antiques.
There was 100 places we visited.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, definitely.
So they had so much stuff.
much stuff.
And in such an array.
They literally had toys hanging from the ceiling.
Okay.
They had toys
But there
on
wasn't
the floor.
like the Joe section, the Transformers
Oh,
section.
that really is sensory overload if
it
you're like
was.
hunting and pecking for things.
They had like all of their holiday Barbies were in one place.
Oh, well, a little bit of organization.
Probably came from one collection. When the collection
Yeah.
came in, they put it there.
Exactly.
But as they run out of space, they just keep putting things
Putting
out.
stuff around
So
them.
it was, if you have
was
a day and you
amazing.
live in the Sacramento area, check them out.
It was absolutely amazing.
And then there's a store attached to it that the husband runs, and it's video games and swords.
yeah, they're both sort of like
Yeah,
you can go between them, but it was comics, video games, and
and
swords.
swords.
Nice.
Yeah, a little bit for
And then
everybody.
the other side was mostly just toys and action figures.
That was still in California. That was like day 3.
That was literally like day 3. We spent a lot of time in California because it's so foreign.
The Jelly Belly
Yeah.
Factory.
Yeah, we visited.
We're
the
just gonna
Jelly
sit here
Belly
reminisce
factory. I have a list. I can talk about
We're
the whole
driving on the way to
list.
Sacramento from San Francisco, and one of our friends said, "Hey, you're gonna pass the Jelly Belly Factory."
So we literally like handbrake 180 in the middle
and
of
I'm
the
like,
road.
"Oh,
and
I have
spun back
diabetes.
around.
I want Jelly
Yeah.
Bellies."
What was really to tie it in a little bit? The Jelly Belly Factory. At one point, they have this like exhibit of Jelly Belly like mosaic paintings.
Okay.
And they're Wonder Woman, Superman.
Yeah, everybody's
so
into
it's-
pop culture.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
So everybody that we got gifts for,
Everybody got.
we should have brought.
We should have brought a
Kevin
bag of Jelly Bellies.
Now we're,
Oh.
That's all right.
but all of our family got Jelly Belly gifts.
Everybody.
Nice.
Christmas. It's all Jelly Bellies. Yeah.
So what else? So we found a bunch of the Pegwarmers at Silva's.
A ton. Well, before we even got to there, we were in Sacramento, and the cave we found Jar Jar.
Oh, all right. So
Yeah.
Sacramento. Are we
And
just
the
going to talk
Walgreens.
about the trip here, right?
Oh, I guess, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I guess so.
Yes. So Sacramento was cool. 40 used to run right through Sacramento.
Yeah.
40 is decommissioned in California. So
doesn't
you actually
actually
need to go.
exist.
Actually, in Sacramento, they've embraced the old road
Historic
that used to
Route
be 40, so
40.
you could find historic Route 40 signs.
Markers,
Okay.
which is really cool
Which,
and very helpful for the trip.
Yep.
We can just follow
We'll
them.
shoot you some pictures to edit in here.
Okay.
So Sacramento,
We decided to go off our path a little bit and go to Sacramento to Toy Fusion.
they're in Sacramento and
Oh,
right
no,
off of
but
40,
they're
and they're
close to
label
40.
mates, Toy Fusion.
Yeah, they were
Right.
also on the show, Toy
Right.
Store Near You.
They're also on the show.
Great place.
I kind of lied and was like, "Yeah, your episode was great." I haven't watched their episode yet. I felt terrible. I will.
still
I
haven't
promise.
seen
I will
it.
watch it. So the owner wasn't there. We didn't pregame
Okay.
and say, "Hey, guess what? Justin and Penelope are coming." So who are we?
Because who the hell
Right.
are we?
You know, we
to
were
be
just
like,
going
we're
as
coming in?
customers. We weren't
Yeah.
going as like
No.
conquering heroes. We're just, all we are.
No.
We're toy collectors,
Right.
and that's how we went.
Yes.
But when we went, the employee there, Anthony, I forget his name,
We
super nice guy,
probably should've made better
recognized us
notes.
because label mates, all
right,
that
right.
stuff.
we had
Let
a
us
great,
go live because we were doing
Yes.
like some live shopping for our Patreon and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
we have a VIP group, and we went and did live shopping right in the
Awesome.
store on
Promo.
live,
No,
like
anyway.
telling everybody, "Okay, you guys want this? Okay, I'm gonna go back."
But it was fun because we were spending their money
Yeah.
and
Right,
shopping.
right.
You know what I mean? So it made it super fun.
Yeah.
And then one of the customers in there took me to the side and he was like, "Hey, listen, this place is great. I know you like it. Right across the street is a place called The Cave.
And you gotta check it out
I found Scratch's weapons there."
for $1.50.
I was like,
bag.
"Oh my God, we got to go check this place out."
I was like, all right, bye.
And literally directly across the street.
Literally
Like
right
if
across the street.
this cave place opened up across the street from Farpoint Toys, I wouldn't do it, but there would be a Molotov cocktail. We went there, man, and it's a warehouse, and they just buy everything.
They do
Wow.
vintage clothing, they do vinyl records, they do shoes, they do toys, action figures.
They are not specific. You know how most 99% of mom and pop toy shops are owned by toy people.
Yeah.
You know, we were collectors. We know the stuff. This is more. I think the guy was a record guy.
Yeah, that's how
saw
it
the
started.
market for
Other things.
Other things.
and just goes into an area and buys it all up.
Yeah, we ended up, getting friendly with him. And he said, that's why I call it the cave, because it's like a mining operation.
Yeah.
We go to a location and we mine it, and then we go somewhere else and
So
mine
they have
that.
they have like kid employees working there where they
Yeah.
just dump things in front of them. They do a quick search on eBay,
Yeah.
Just to
put
see
it in a
what they've
bag,
got.
price it, and throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
But things slip by because
Right, of
they're
course.
not
Yeah,
us,
they're
which is
not-
why
it's
Scratch's
not-
weapons.
It's not their wheelhouse.
We went there that evening,
It
had
was
dinner with our friends,
overwhelming.
right? Got a hotel room that night, woke up and said, we have to go back to
That's
the
not
cave.
exactly what happened. What happened was they had a horde trooper, which we didn't bring.
We couldn't bring everything
Couldn't
we
bring
bought. We
everything.
bought
So they had a horde trooper.
Okay.
And I was like, we need that for the museum. Because our He-Man collection is mine and my sister's from when we were kids.
Right.
We never had a horde trooper. It's like one of the only figures we didn't have.
Of course, you didn't have the expensive
And I'm
furniture.
like, we can't. Well, by then we weren't even playing anymore. But I was like, we should probably get that horde trooper. It was a pretty good deal. And he was like, one will probably come in the store. We like to kind of hunt and let things come to us. All night, he's literally tossing and turning. We got to go back for the horde trooper. And I'm like, we should have bought it. And he's like, we got to go back for the horde trooper.
I really wanted to go back because when the guy told me I found Scratch's weapons, I was like, oh,
You're twitching. He's twitching.
I'm going to find something. So we spent hours there. I did not find anything like that. I didn't find
we
like a
got some cool
fantail
stuff.
rail or anything.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
I was hoping.
Yeah.
Because a couple little scores like that makes the trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It pays for the trip
Yes.
almost.
Yeah. But the place was amazing. We didn't score anything giantly huge, but it was fun.
It was
And
an experience.
It was fun digging.
Totally different than the boutique mom and pop places.
Well, it sounds
we
like,
went to.
yeah,
Opposite.
very different.
Totally different. It was very what's the word? Not machine. The assembly line.
Yeah, kind of assembly line feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
assembly line.
But fun.
Very
you know.
fun. Again, sensory overload. Literally wall to
Everything
ceiling.
is kind of sensory overload, though. It's funny because we went from that, like places like that, and Silva's, it was crazy, and then a place. What was
have my
Jeff's
notes.
collection? The place with like the museum cases.
Jeff's Collectible Empire.
Where was that at?
That was outside of Denver, Colorado. So you're really
All right,
jumping.
well,
now.
not really jumping. We went over to
Gone
Rockies
across
to go
the
to
country,
Denver.
yeah.
You're jumping.
So Denver had a bunch of places too, most notably Mile High Comics.
Right.
But Jeff's Collectible Empire, the first thing you notice when you go in this place
The
is
cases.
he custom built all these cases
Wow.
that run the wall.
Amazing.
And it looked like, you ever go into someone's high-end man cave
Yeah.
or she shed
Or them den.
or whatever, or you know.
Or the Smithsonian. The cases
he
were amazing.
Hand built these cases where all the toys are in, and it makes every toy. It makes a $5 Buck Rogers look like a.
It's funny that as toy
$75.
people, we're harping on like something as simple as his cases, but like the toys, I don't want to say we see it all the time, but the cases were so unique. We've
Presentation
never
is
seen
a huge
anything like
Presentation
that.
was amazing,
Yeah,
and
that
there's
was
different
really
ways
cool.
to present. You know, Denver. Denver had a. I'm actually wearing a T-shirt from one of the places in
So
Denver
to get
right
back
now.
to Jeff's real quick, I don't want to skip around. I got this amazing lunchbox at Jeff's. I'm a lunchbox collector, and this is one of the things new to my collection. It's weird because it's soft. This is the only like soft back lunchbox I have in my collection currently, and it's He-Man, and I love He-Man, so I.
Is
Thanks,
it of the era?
Jeff's. It is. It's vintage.
It certainly looks it.
It's insulated. It's really neat, and it has like the handle on it.
I didn't know
It's-
they made soft lunchboxes of the
you?
era.
I didn't know they did either, but
Neither
I mean,
did I.
the coloring and that artwork. I mean,
awesome.
it's so.
And I love He-Man, and I love lunchboxes. It was a no-brainer, and they gave us a really great deal.
They gave us a great deal on a. We also needed a.
Green Arrow
Well, we needed a Green Arrow with his bow and
with his
arrow.
bow and arrow for our.
We had a Green Arrow, but
Superpowers.
finding the stuff is tough. So they
Right.
gave us a good price on that.
nice.
Everybody liked that we were, we were also we were straight up with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, we do this as well. Everybody got the spiel. We're on Route 40
Yeah,
too.
everybody got
That
the
whole
speech.
thing.
But
And
it's,
it endeared some people to us.
yeah,
Right.
being collectors and owning a store is weird because when you tell someone I have a store, they immediately sometimes they get this like, oh, you're a reseller.
Oh, you're here to buy and make money from us.
I'm
We're not at all.
Right.
No, I'm a collector. I can't like this is mine. No one's getting out of my cold dead hands. It's mine.
We did Mile High in Denver.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't want to stop using the word sensory overload, but
You can't.
it's a warehouse.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard of it.
Literally.
It's a gigantic warehouse.
Full
and it's more of
everything.
if you ask me, my opinion, it's more of a Disney World. It's more of
a tourist destination.
a tourist destination than it is a place for collectors.
Okay.
It's a mecca for collectors. Like you
Yeah.
have to say you went there.
Yeah.
But honestly, as a collector who's been doing it a long time, they have tourist destination prices.
Okay.
You know what I mean by
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was hard to buy there, but there was some of everything, and you get to say, "Hey, I went to Mile High," which is insane.
Yeah.
There's a picture of us standing in front of their comic area, and it was just as far as the eye can see, literally just.
It's funny because it's also their online warehouse. There's like stanchions where you're not allowed to cross.
Oh, okay.
And there's just millions of comics.
Yeah.
Because they have a huge online empire.
Yeah.
Right.
So this was my favorite place in Denver.
Gnarly's. They were hold on. They weren't actually in Denver. They were technically.
They were down near Columbine.
Hold on. Yeah,
Okay.
they may have been. It's not on my list. That's
Anyway.
hilarious.
Gnarly's was cool.
Lakewood.
Okay.
Lakewood.
They let us use their Wi-Fi, go online. Some places we went in and we tried to do live shopping for our VIPs every place we could.
Okay.
And lots of places were cool.
That had internet and really had Wi-Fi that we could use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was some places we didn't ask because the vibe immediately was like, I don't even want to
Yeah,
ask.
you can read. You can read a
just
room.
tell-
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfectly put.
You know, when they got the spiel, they just kind of stared at us like, okay, why are you talking to me?
And some places it wasn't like the owner behind the counter; it was like an employee.
Yeah.
So why would an employee let you use the
someone-
Wi-Fi?
if
It
someone
depends
came
on the
in-
employee too. Like
Yeah.
there's people that have worked somewhere forever, and and then there's like the new help that.
Yeah,
Correct.
They're
if
just
someone,
working a
if someone
Tuesday
came into
night.
our store and our girl Emily was working and they asked to use the Wi-Fi,
She'd say
she
no.
probably would have been like,
Yeah, because she probably doesn't
sorry.
feel like she's authorized to like
That's
correct.
allow
Exactly.
that.
And
Yeah.
that, we ran into that a couple times, but for the most part, man, we're all the same kind of
Yeah,
people. You
we're
know,
all
I mean,
nerds.
as far as the collecting and that kind of stuff goes, we're different people being from different areas.
Right.
You know, we can keep talking.
Yeah, I know. This is
there's
great.
still- there's
I'm enjoying the
we're
trip.
not even
I'm like-
halfway down the list. You skipped around.
the funny thing is I almost wish we had like the '80s slide projector, and you guys were like click click
Oh wow!
click click. You know, like that's
some slides from our
Family
vacation.
photos. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That would be great. We'll send some photos so you can drop.
okay.
them in.
Yeah, we'll stick some in.
So we jumped to Denver between like the Sacramento area and then Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
You have to go over the Sierra Nevadas. You have to go through Nevada and Reno.
How's driving through all that? Like,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It
That-
was, I think, aside from the toys and everything, just all of the beautiful scenery we got to see. Because there's stuff I've never seen mountains like that. I'm from New Jersey.
I've never been across the Mississippi.
No, they absolutely beautiful things that I'll never see again as long as I live.
No, that's not true because we're going to do it again.
Okay.
That was my favorite part.
We're
My
leaving
favorite
tomorrow.
part of the drive, honestly, was from Eastern California until Denver.
Okay.
All of that was my favorite part of the drive. Probably the least amount of toys,
I don't
Maybe.
know. Kansas was pretty dry,
but the most beautiful and to
Scenic.
us
historic.
alien landscape it comes to mind, because once you go over the Sierra Nevadas where the Donner Pass was and all that beautiful mountains, it was snowing. I mean, we're up there.
Yes,
Wow.
we almost got stuck and had to eat each other.
You could survive. You'd have been fine.
I would have died first. It's fine. Go ahead.
Survive off me for 3 years. So you come down out of California into Nevada, and then it's Nevada. It's flat, but there's mountains all around. You can see mountains, and it's beautiful in its own way. Reno sucked. Sorry if you live in Reno.
Yes, I want to
just
say.
a nothing town. It's and we're so
it reminded me so much of Atlantic City. It was upsetting.
right. And Atlantic City is the hub of which we live around.
Right.
And, we don't really go into it much. So Reno reminded us of that, which is probably why we had a bad taste for Reno. So after Nevada, you go into Utah, and then once you hit Salt Lake City, Route 40 actually begins.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's still a thing. It's not a decommissioned highway anymore.
We didn't have to follow old maps and like get lost and try to figure out where we were going, Indiana Jones style. There was actually Route 40 that way.
So we're going through these hills on our way to the Rockies in Colorado of Utah, and it's like brown grass and bushes like we've never seen, in these rolling hills, and there's nothing around, and it was alien. That's what I mean by alien. After you leave California until you get to eastern Kansas, there's not much green.
Okay.
We are very used to
Yeah.
green, right? Everything around us here is green.
Look at us
right?
in a satellite map and it's all green.
It didn't hit me until we're in Kansas after we leave, Colorado and Denver and everything. I started seeing bushes, and I was like, "Oh wow!"
This is literally the first vegetation we've seen on the side of the road.
Well, green vegetation.
Yeah.
I haven't seen green in days.
Yeah,
It's
weird.
been a while.
It's super weird, man. But then I looked at Google Earth just to see what was going on, and really it is brown from But you don't realize it until you're in it. You
Yeah.
can look at a map all you want, but until you're doing it, you don't realize the lack of that kind of thing when we're so used to that kind of thing.
Right.
We did see the salt flats, which were really cool. The Bonneville
That's
salt
cool.
flats.
I drove on the salt flats.
He was
A
excited
minivan.
in a minivan. He was excited to drive
20 miles an hour.
I was excited because so many movies have been filmed there.
Yeah.
Buckaroo Banzai, Warlock, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, were filmed there. So I geeked out. That was a little,
Talk about an alien landscape.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. The sun was going down. The cool thing about that is we're in a super highly populated area here in the East Coast, right? Everything is there's a toll to get in everywhere.
Yeah.
There's
We paid 3 tolls to get here today.
right. There's everything is like built up. Well, there's a sign that says, salt flats this way. So you follow the sign, and then you take this two-lane road, and I fully expected there'd be like a guardhouse.
Oh, yeah.
And like grandstands.
Yeah, I thought there'd be something.
A toll booth, just something.
Anything.
You get to the end of the road, there's a sign that says, "Welcome to the Salt Flats."
And then they're just there.
There's nothing. There's not a
No.
park ranger.
No.
There's not.
There's no donation box.
You're
nothing.
in the Salt Flats.
Yeah.
And all there is
Salt.
50 other people like you standing there looking around saying, "Wow,
Yeah.
there's nothing here."
And we got there right at sunset, which
Yeah,
is
it
like
was
magic
cool.
hour. So like someone had, what kind of car did he have?
He had like a Porsche Targa.
Someone brought, he didn't hit it. We thought he was going to hit it. He just took pictures of his car out there.
I was videoing him like, "Oh, he's gonna get
He's gonna
on
go,
it."
he's gonna go.
He like pulled out, got out, set up a tripod, and like took selfies. And I was like, "You're supposed to be driving that thing." There was like people taking wedding pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really cool.
it's beautiful. I mean,
But it tied into the whole pop culture toy thing because
Yeah.
so many movies and stuff were filmed there, which I thought was really cool.
there's probably a list.
Oh,
you
there.
know.
I'm
sure.
Warlock was my
Specifically,
big
Buckaroo
deal.
Banzai jumped into my, that whole beginning scene when he's
Right.
driving the car. And,
No, for me it was Warlock. I was really excited.
And I
to
mean,
go
just
there.
all the records and things that have been set there for
oh my God.
aviation and land vehicles and all that other stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a lot of history. And it was cool that Route 40, it's actually 70 because in places, there's only one road that goes through there.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
So
when they did
they-
70, they just
they just
stamped
put
it
it on
right over
top
old
of 40.
40.
Oh, okay.
So you have to be on 70 to be on 40.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we went to, we stopped in antique stores in the Rocky Mountains on our way to Denver. Just little tiny towns.
Tiny little nowhere.
Any good scores like toy stuff or just cool antiques to look at?
So-
Because sometimes you'll find like that
Dude,
one weird
I
thing.
was looking.
Yeah.
I forget where we got some of the stuff we got. The best thing, which of course I forgot to bring, the best single thing we actually picked up on our trip was a pretty rare strawberry shortcake still in the box.
Okay.
From the end of the run when no one really cared, just like every other Pegwarmer. Nobody cared
Yeah.
about them at the time, and then now
So
they're
which
they're more
one is it? I
popular.
gotta ask.
Strawberry shortcake with berrykin.
Oh, okay.
So she comes with this tiny little PVC guy. Now
Okay.
she's in a different outfit than normal, different hairdo, different hat, but she comes with this tiny little PVC guy. And the PVC guy by himself can do $60-$70 loose.
Wow.
And we picked her up at an antique store where I don't think they have internet wherever we were. I don't remember where we were. I think it was Salt Lake City. I think it might have been Capital City Antiques outside of Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And we got it for a
No
good
toy
deal.
stores in Salt Lake City. Oh, wait.
I had no internet, so I didn't look it up or anything. I just bought it because I knew we didn't have it for our museum.
Right.
And when we got back, it turns out it's pretty freaking rare. And it
I
was
think
a
there
really
is a
good
toy
buy.
store in Salt Lake City, but it wasn't open when we were there.
So that's another really hard thing when you do a
Yeah.
road trip is like
Yeah.
toy stores and comic stores and things like that have like those. They have
you know
weekend
you're dead
hours, so
Monday
they're,
to
so they're
Tuesday.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like if you plan a road trip, depending on where you're going through it,
Yeah.
you can't.
That happened.
We did the
That
best we
happened.
could.
Yeah.
But we get it. We own a store. We're
Yeah.
only open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Thursdays by appointment.
And again, we didn't want to like call ahead and say, guess what? We're Justin and
'Cause
Penelope.
who are we?
Right.
You know what I mean? We could have
Yeah,
tried that,
no.
but I don't want to annoy other toy store owners. We really just wanted to go in as fans and collectors and do our thing. And we did for the most part. And I'm sure we missed a few.
We
You're going to
absolutely
There's
by
no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
we absolutely did.
There's no master list of every like a map that you can see where every.
I would
single
love to
place
put
is.
that together.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
we-
You
know,
we did a
what-
good job
what an app that
Googling.
would be.
Yeah,
We did a good
like plan
job
my route.
Googling.
You
Yeah.
know,
Where am I
no
gonna
more
be?
than a half-hour deviation.
Yes.
From point A to point B.
That's an awesome thing to put together. Somebody do that.
That'd be cool.
Hashtag Pegwarmers Farpoint Toys. Copyright. So
What else did we? We went and visited Dinosaur Utah, which is they
So-
have fossils and
yes,
stuff. That
yeah.
was cool.
And that was totally off the cuff. Like we
We saw a sign that said
knew we were
"Wall
gonna-
of Bones, 10 miles this way."
we
Like,
didn't
okay. let's go.
pre-look for anything because we knew we were going to be on 40. And if we saw something interesting, we knew we were going to do it.
I actually didn't want to pregame too much because I didn't want to find out that like 50 miles that way is something I really would want to see. I didn't want to know.
Yeah, because then that's going to encourage the deviation.
Well, we were going to be gone for 2 weeks. We ended up being gone for 3 weeks. Almost 3 weeks.
18 days.
18 days. So we already added to our trip just staying on 40.
This is a funny thing. So before we went, we kind of put it out there like, hey, we're going to be traveling across country. If you have a collection and live near Route 40, we'd love to look at what you have, maybe buy some collections on the way.
Yeah.
Somebody from Arizona contacted me. I have a massive G.I. Joe collection, USS Flag,
Now,
blah, blah, blah.
Route 40 does not go through Arizona.
But he was
too far.
10 hours the wrong way. So I couldn't.
We couldn't justify.
I tried to make the deal with the guy before I even went. That way, because I couldn't go and not
go way out of the way and then
God
find out.
It didn't work out.
And not know what's in it or what's missing.
So we tried
it was
to get it to
really
happen
hard to
in
put together, and
advance.
it wasn't available for him to take pictures and all that kind of stuff.
So it wasn't in the cards.
Next trip, maybe. But that would have been really cool. Like that, we did that the year before. We picked up a Joe collection in North Dakota.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that, which is cool.
We lived in a van with a G.I. Joe collection.
Listen, it was fun. Thank God we're toy people. What else did we find on our trip?
Well, what happened is after
Chubble.
Denver, Denver is right at the base of the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
East of Denver, coming home until you have a lot more Colorado. It's called the High Plains. There's no mountains, nothing. And then you go into Kansas, you're still in the High Plains. There's just ghost towns, like just these dead towns where we took some cool pictures. But there's like one antique store, but it's like ducks, those carved
duck decoys
and stuff,
shabby chic.
Yeah.
Or there's a thrift store, and they have like 3 pairs of shoes and a chubble, something along those lines.
So between Denver and Lawrence, Kansas, I think we found one toy.
Okay.
Let's see.
It was
Sergeant
Bananas.
It was a Sergeant Bananas.
Loose, incomplete.
Yes.
In a case in Hayes, Kansas.
The Antique Mall of Hayes, it was called, I think.
It was the only toy in the entire place. I won't forget it because it was first of all, it had been like 2 days since we've seen a toy.
It had literally been 3 days since we'd seen a toy, and as soon as I saw him out of the corner of my eye, I was like, oh my God, a toy!
I had to buy Sergeant Bananas.
Yeah. Totally incomplete, no weapons, but he was
just
there.
nice to see him.
It was nice to see.
And then once you hit Lawrence, Kansas, like I said, Lawrence is
it's very hip.
It's all of a sudden you're not in Kansas anymore. So, and the street that 1313 Mockingbird Lane is on is awesome. And that Massachusetts Street used to be Route 40. It's one of those things where it still is Route 40, isn't it?
It's actually a block away.
Okay.
But it's this close from 40.
It's the heart of town.
We had no problem just sneaking off. In a lot of places, Route 40 only went. So it would go both directions, but then when as time went on, traffic would get so heavy, they would turn it into like just a westbound lane, and then a different road would become the eastbound lane.
Indianapolis.
So I think Massachusetts Street may have at one point been one or the other Route 40s, but then moved over because there's just too much traffic to go in 2 directions on one road.
Right.
So that makes sense.
There were some other places in Kansas. We got some barbecue, I think, or St. Louis. Everything mishes together in the Midwest, man.
Yeah.
I think the most off the beaten path we drove an hour to see Philip K. Dick's grave in Fort Morgan, Colorado. And we actually stopped at a Starbucks inside a Wegmans to watch the live
premiere.
Yes, the premiere.
We were in the premiere.
We were in the premiere chatting on YouTube.
Yeah, you guys
in a Starbucks.
You guys were traveling, and I was like, "Hey, it comes out tonight. I don't know where you guys are at."
Like, shit, we have to watch.
It was actually fun sitting at Starbucks in a random Wegmans in what, Colorado?
Fort Morgan, Colorado, where Philip K. Dick is buried. Yes.
Shout out Fort Morgan.
Yeah. Thank you, Starbucks lady, who didn't yell at us the whole time we were there, laughing and screaming and talking on our phones until we were done our stream. She came over and said, "I'm really sorry, but I'm closing. Thank you so much. We'll go. We'll leave now."
So then after like Kansas and like Missouri goes pretty fast. Like the rest of the states go fast, and then you kind of start feeling you're in familiar territory. Like between here and say Chicago, it's still it's familiar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even if you haven't been there, the vibe, is that the word? I don't know. You start seeing the small chains that we're used to.
It's more familiar.
It's
the
more
road
populated.
signs. The road signs look similar to the ones you're used to at home.
Gotcha.
And, you just kind of start feeling like you're on this side of
Although
home.
it was still another week of driving. Well, with the way we stopped and
Well,
everything.
we didn't take it straight. We went on 40, and 40 goes like this in a lot of places.
So here and there, we found more Pegwarmers, obviously.
Let's see.
We took pictures of us wherever we found them.
Yep.
We found, I don't know if he's on that list, but we found classified roadblock in a
Walgreens.
Walgreens.
That was
of all
actually
places.
early on, but yeah, he was just sitting in a Walgreens, not expecting to see it. So
Right. Yeah, that's not
I
where
was
you're
like, "Just
expecting
in
to
style!"
check
We needed
something
like more
off.
shampoo or something. Like, I was going to check the toy aisle because I was
Yeah.
doing the Diamond Select Avatar,
Oh, okay.
which were there
Yeah.
until McFarlane's Avatar
McFarlanes
dropped.
are so
Now I'm getting
nice.
rid of my Diamond Select and only doing them.
They're all good, but the McFarlanes.
That's
are
so
good.
brutal. I mean, not to change the total subject, but
Oh,
like
no.
when toy lines switch and you have sort
know.
of like a half complete line
yeah.
and somebody's making almost the exact same line,
I know.
it's rough.
It is rough because you
McFarlanes
don't.
are so
First of
cool.
all, they're both still doing it.
Right.
So I don't know who's
Which
going
is
to go
crazy.
deeper.
How do they both have the rights at the same time?
Different style figures.
It's a different,
I think,
there's some weird
Yeah.
slice in that
Delineation.
license that it's like NECA doing the cartoon turtles and Super 7 doing the toy-based
and
Yep.
like
turtles,
Pop,
and it's like,
Funko being able to do Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's a vinyl figure, not an action figure.
Well, it
Right.
might be something as simple as 6-inch, 7-inch.
yeah, sometimes it's just the scale, sometimes
Amount
it's
of
like the
articulation.
style or like
Crazy.
which media it's based on.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just so similar. It's like,
I agree. Right, this is a
What do you
perfect example.
do?
If you go look at the Diamond Select Avatar, look at the tangent we just went off on.
We can't
Diamond
stop.
Select Avatar and McFarlane Avatar. Only reason I went with McFarlane is because it's McFarlane.
yeah.
You know, his DC figures
Are
right now
they
are
7-inch?
No, they're like 6-inch.
Are they the
I
6-inch?
think they're actually a little smaller than the Diamond Selects.
Okay.
Anyway, we went on a road trip, and now we're going off road.
We found another Pegwarmer at a place called Emporium 40. I forget the town name, but it was in Indiana.
I don't remember this.
It was basically like a flea market,
Okay.
kind of
Oh,
inside like an old Sears building.
we saw. I think what the future is of
Yeah.
mall life.
We've seen it. We saw it in a couple places.
And I wish
but
I
it started
had
in Indiana.
the capital to do this in our area because, as we all know, especially in our Northeast here, malls themselves are dying.
Right.
Right. That kind of mall culture.
It's just
Well,
done.
somebody had bought an old, probably Sears building, and set it all up in 10 by 10, and then 2 rows of lit cases. And they rent the 10 by 10 spaces, and they rent the cases for, the spaces are $200 and some, and there's 400 spaces.
Wow.
And there's 100 and some cases.
There were a couple places like that. This is the one that had all the microwaves and vacuums and the weird smell.
Oh, that was the not as high end
No.
one. But I think that flea market-ish vibe
idea.
might be the future of these empty mall spaces. Because it's a lot of small vendors
Yeah.
maybe
Right.
doing a side job.
Right. Somebody that doesn't have.
running away from eBay because eBay is falling off a cliff basically
Right.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Deals. People love thrifting. Thrifting is huge.
Pick-
I mean, we were out
picking,
there doing the
thrifting.
whole thrifting video thing, like, oh, look what we found, you
Yeah.
know. So that I think there's some writing on the wall with that. It's a great concept.
Yeah. The idea was awesome. In this particular place, the execution was very bizarre.
It was a lot of microwaves.
So many microwaves, and there was this weird food smell,
Just like-
taking over the entire place. And I finally tracked it down. It was coming from one of the microwaves that was for sale. It was scary. It was pretty scary. But we did find Rosetico there,
Yes.
Pegwarmer.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
there
That's
you go.
right. Yeah, we knew we'd find her somewhere.
not in the microwave.
The vibe of this place was just like, there's some flea markets where you have to wear gloves to go through things, and there's some flea markets where everything's really nice. It's that was the bad Denny's of flea markets. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
your town has the good Denny's,
yeah,
and the
and
bad
the bad Denny's.
Denny's.
This was the
My
bad
town has a
Denny's.
dirty Sev and a regular 7-Eleven.
Okay, there you go.
Same
Yeah,
concept,
same
I
vibe.
imagine.
Yeah.
But it was right on 40, and the name, it was actually Emporium 40 with the root 40
Gotcha,
symbol.
logo.
So we
Rose
had to
Tico
go.
definitely, that figure belonged there.
She
in that
did.
spot.
I was tempted to leave her inside a microwave, but I didn't.
Oh man.
Yeah, but that's what else? What was after that?
So much. I mean,
Grayscale
honestly,
collectibles
this
was
is
really nice.
hours.
We could
Oh,
continue.
Grayscale in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Shout out to Grayscale specifically.
yeah. Terrence was awesome. He's a great artist who started out as an artist and then sort of segued into being a nerd. You do a little bit of everything. But he went from being just an artist to having his own store, and he sells his art in the store too.
Nice.
Which makes the store have a really neat vibe, different from anywhere else.
And he
that
does
we
because he's an
visited.
artist, he does like a lot of customs and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So his store had a really creative vibe because he's a creative person.
Yeah.
A lot of places, once they found out, this reminded me, once they found out we were dealers as well, you know how many back rooms we saw?
It's funny because it was either like, oh, you're a reseller, or
didn't happen often.
check out the back room.
Almost
I have
everybody
so much
was super
stuff.
cool.
We're all, like he said before, we're all the same kind of
Yeah.
nerd.
So a lot of people
So,
brought us into the back room.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, and all the back rooms look the same, man. It's just all about processing stuff.
Yeah.
Tubs of stuff.
Tubs of stuff.
But we told them we were doing Pegwarmers, so we got to search for stuff
Nice.
too in some places.
Yeah, if you can get the back room and they don't mind you picking through parts and stuff, that's the best.
Oh, it is
you
the best.
know,
But
because,
I mean, we could have spent 2 months on the road.
well, yeah,
Yes.
you've always got to just kind of see what you can find at a glance because you
Yes.
can't be there all day.
Yeah.
You know.
Some places, I mean, like Mockingbird, we were in their back room going through Joe's, and
Yeah.
we were there all day almost.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time at Grayscale.
We did.
Great place. It's just really fun.
Speaking of back rooms, listen, we could have done this for 6 months. I wish I could be on the road. I wish
Right.
there
If,
was a.
if you had no
Yes.
responsibility in life, an
Yes.
unlimited source of income, you could just
Yes.
do it. But
or
Yes,
if there was a
or-
way to monetize this.
Yeah.
right.
If we had someone work in the shop and we were just sending things home.
It's a
Right.
dream. It's a dream.
It's a dream.
We have a lot of dreams. That's one of them.
Yeah, I know, but I love being on the road. So, and I love travel. So that would be amazing.
You love driving. Thank God.
So, speaking of back rooms and seeing things that nobody else see, right off of Route 40 in Springfield, Illinois,
Ohio.
You saw his tank.
Springfield, Ohio.
Springfield, Ohio.
There's a regiment of
No.
CGs.
Speaking of back rooms, our good friends Aaron and Sarah are opening their own shop in
Okay.
Springfield, Ohio.
Roma.
Collectibles.
Yes.
Now you've probably
Okay.
seen Roma at cons.
Yes.
They've been on the convention scene for
They
decades.
always have amazing stuff.
They're always there. They do their own exclusives through all kinds of different companies. They're finally opening their own location, and
Right off of Route 40.
Right off, literally, right off of Route 40.
So Aaron was like, "Listen, we're not going to be open.
You gotta come.
We're right off of Route 40.
Yeah.
Please come by."
So we did.
Very
So
cool.
we got there the day after they
They moved all their stock
moved
from
all
their
their
warehouse
stock into
to
the warehouse. So
store.
you were talking about tubs.
Boxes.
The
tubs.
potential for listen, I can't speak on the vibe of the place. I assume it's going to be awesome,
I've been following them on Instagram. It's
Right.
going to be amazing.
but the potential because the amount of stuff they have is awesome.
Yeah.
Super nice, super great people, super
And
gracious,
We got
and
something.
they nixed our final.
Where is he?
You got the final
We
Pegwarmer
did. We
to
got
score
the
bingo.
last. So you were kind enough to give us a free space.
Yes.
And I had said, like, let's make it a Hess truck or a Beanie Baby. We found so many Hess
Yeah.
trucks and Beanie Babies. That free space
That's
was
the bingo
blown.
free space. That
Yes,
that was blown out.
But the final thing we needed to go vertical.
Aaron had a stack. He had a stack of everything. I personally, I got some carded Dungeons and Dragons. I got a
Nice.
Yeah.
War Duke,
For the collection.
Battlematic War Duke carded, and
was it
a
Grimsword?
Grimsword carded.
Wow.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Really,
And I had
really
to buy
good
them.
stuff.
Yeah.
You never see them.
For us.
And then
And then who you got there? What is it?
the final peg warmer
Dun, dun, dun.
to
Bingo!
give us the bingo.
Yes.
Pizza face.
Pizza face.
Pizza face, which I wasn't aware was a peg warmer, but
I mean, I understand why he was a peg warmer. Although, Kev, you noticed before we started that he's unpunched, so he never even got
He
to
never
warm
even
the
warmed
peg.
a peg.
yeah. Kevin's right. He never even got a chance to warm a peg. He came out of a
No.
box somewhere.
Yeah,
One of the
it's sad.
oddest things with Pizza Face that I kind of thought of as a kid is, I mean, there's always Shredder as a human character on the bad guys, but like, he's a human. He's not a mutant, but he's got like slime on him. I mean, maybe he's some sort of mutant, but
I feel like he's just like.
is he living pizza dough in the shape of a human, or is he a human?
I'm going to read the back
Well,
of
he
his
has a file card.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah,
read his file
He's
card.
he's missing a leg.
He's missing a leg. He's
He
missing a
looks like-
finger.
he just looks like a really upsetting, like, Italian gentleman who's a chef of some sort, right? Like,
Why's he got to be an Italian gentleman?
well, I mean,
I think you're
he's a pizza guy.
pigeoning hole there.
you think I am?
He might be Romanian.
Pizza Face, Shredder's crazed culinary creator, had a plan to become the most powerful pizza chef ever. So he zapped himself in his retro mutagen oven, hoping the energy would bake him with badness. But the hungry turtle teens burst into the parlor and pulled Pizza Face out. Now this half-baked bozo wants to get even with the turtles for foiling his formula.
Oh, so he's like half
He
mutagen.
only
guy.
got partway
Yeah.
mutated.
Possessing the power of the pizza pie, Pizza Face is the ultimate turtle nightmare.
Listen, with turtles, don't ask how with a lot of them.
Yeah.
No.
You know, you just got to kind of roll with the mutagen.
I just think he's like an interesting design because they just pretty much thought of an animal and made a
yeah,
figure for everything.
yeah.
So it's just interesting. At some point, someone's like, "What if we made like a weird pizza chef?"
Well, pizza plays such a huge
Being
role.
their thing.
For sure, in the show and then the toy line.
I love the last line on his card is very threatening. It talks about how he delivers because he's pizza.
How about that?
Yeah.
He comes with a cleaver.
He has a big cleaver.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got a
Pizza box shield.
pizza box shield.
Yeah.
He has a couple pizzas he can hold.
Yeah.
Unpunched. It's nice that he's unpunched, but again, I feel bad that he's unpunched because he never even made it to the peg to warm.
One day we got to talk about Playmates. Playmates is
The company or
every line Playmates did.
all their lines are just great.
They went all in.
They certainly did.
Like
I love the Star Trek line.
and Simpson, World of Simpsons.
The Simpsons. We just talked about this
We can go off
yesterday.
on a left turn with all that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Pizza Face as a kid, though. I had him. I thought he was a cool
I
looking
love
figure.
that his toes are sticking out of his shoe. I think
Yeah.
that's my
I
favorite
enjoy
thing.
pizza still. I was Pizza Face was after my time.
I feel like the
I do
mustache-
appreciate him now as a toy person and enjoying the Turtles line.
He's ridiculous. He's
I
wonderful.
didn't
and
know he was a
ridiculous.
pegwarmer until you put him on the list.
Right?
And
I understand why he would have been a pegwarmer though, because he's just a dude.
Yeah, he doesn't fit the turtle
Yeah.
aesthetic.
Right. He's
And
not
I
a
could see
giraffe.
I could see a lot of moms going like,
Why?
he's kind of gross, or just
Yeah.
skip
yeah,
him.
the sauce was almost kind of blood.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a
Oh, I didn't
lot of
think of
reasons that he now that we're talking about it, it makes sense. There's a lot of reasons he didn't get sold.
Yeah, I
Right.
didn't think
He's
of that.
not a cool mutagen animal.
Yeah.
Some sort of anthropomorphic
Cat, dog,
alligator.
giraffe,
You could go down the list.
Yeah.
Giraffe skip
He's
ball.
not even a bug or anything. He's
Right,
just a
he's
creepy
just-
dude.
Yeah. Wow, I never put that together.
It's the mustache.
Besides Shredder,
I think
he
that's
is-
why I thought he was
He's
Italian.
basically the only bad guy
It's the
human.
mustache.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was Baxter a bug or a human before he was?
He was
He was a human that got turned into a
bugged.
fly.
Oh, kind of like the
Yeah.
fly.
Yes.
Yeah, literally exactly like
Okay.
that.
Brundlefly.
Yeah. But yeah.
Where did we
so
get this?
That came from
Retro
Retro
TV
TV Toys. They were in Indianapolis, right?
Want to hear something cool that happened
Salt Lake?
while we were out?
Yes.
can't.
Here's how the internet works.
Tell us more.
There's groups online where you interact with people, and I'm in a group of 1/18th scale builders and military and stuff, and we have been together since I was on histank.com years ago in the forums before I got 2009. I got kicked off of histank.com in 2009 for arguing with an admin because I was ragging on the 2009 G.I. Joe movie. Little did I know.
Dare you?
As you do.
Little
It
did
would
I
get
know what was going to
worse.
happen
It was gonna
with
get
G.I. Joe
worse.
movies.
Oh, stop.
So we stayed friends on like Facebook. We all left His Tank and went to like a Facebook
Okay.
group for 1/18th scale. This is 12 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Interacting, friends with some of these guys all that time. One of the guys lives outside of Kansas City.
Okay.
We met at a toy store for the first time in our lives.
That's cool.
Super cool. And we have like this history of like these inside jokes of over the years.
And you never met him.
And never met
before.
in person.
Yeah.
So we met at, was it called Two Brothers?
It was just called Brothers.
It's just Two Brothers.
It's just Brothers. It's not called Two Brothers.
Oh,
it's just
Brothers
Brothers.
Toys
Brothers Toys.
in Kansas City, which is a cool place. I bought a G.I. Joe armor bot
Okay.
there.
did.
Loose, incomplete, but still
Yeah.
you never really see them anywhere.
Right.
They're great for customs.
And we hung out. It was really cool, like meeting someone in a real life situation that I had been interacting on forums with forever,
Yeah.
which is one of those interesting little stories.
I bought a chubble, which I'm really excited about. It's a knockoff Ewok. I got it in a thrift store. I don't even remember where. Somewhere on our trip.
Don't they make noise?
They do. I didn't put batteries in them, but they go like chee 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 chee. The little fake Ewok. I love him. I brought him.
How's
He's
that go?
cute. I love him. Chee, 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 chee. I don't know. He's cute and I love him and he's stupid and he's wonderful.
They're knockoff Ewoks.
They are, and they made them in all different. Like there's a green hood, a blue hood. It's all the same stupid figure.
So
but
now you need to complete a chubble collection.
I think I only need the green one now, and I think I'm good. Yeah,
What is a chubble?
chubble. Yeah, because it
trouble with
chiggles-
chubbles.
Introduce him.
Chubbles chiggle. That's the noise they make.
Oh, okay.
And they're light sensitive, so when you put the battery in it and you cover its face or like you snuggle it, it'll go. Chee.
And I think they're same era as Kenner Ewok.
They are. They're
plush
totally. They're
Ewoks.
Yeah.
totally rip-offs.
I mean, you can
of
tell it's
Ewoks, yeah.
inspired by that for sure.
Absolutely, 100%. I love
Interesting.
knockoff crap. I think I like some knockoff stuff better than the
Well,
real thing.
speaking of knockoff crap, now that we
Oh yeah, we
get to
won.
take over an episode.
We won. So guess what?
Yes, so that I guess we didn't fill in that detail, and I was sorry. When the challenge was created, there had to be a
prize.
a spoil to be won, right? In this war to collect all the Pegwarmers.
Kevin said, "What do you get to win?" And I immediately was like, we want to take over an episode of Pegwarmers.
Yes.
So we will.
Not that we don't take it over when we're here.
Yeah, I was
right?
going to say, how is it going to change? I don't think it's really going
just
to be
switch
any.
seats.
So
No, because you're not sitting there.
You get the big chair.
No, we should probably just stay where we are.
No, you get the big chair.
we'll
figure that out.
We'll decide when you guys come back for that episode. You guys will pick the topic. It'll be your show that day.
Yeah, that's a lot of stress.
I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, we'll figure it out.
All right.
We have enough of it.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Like I said, we could go on and on.
What was the closest store to your store? Like, what was the last store you visited?
Wow.
The
A place we never heard of in Maryland
Yep.
that you got the lunchboxes.
Random Treasures in Rosedale, Maryland, was this tiny little place next to a Subway sub shop.
Oh,
And-
not the underground train.
No. And it looked like
Attached to Subway.
from the
Yeah.
outside, it just looked like this tiny little sliver. And the minute we opened the door to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, it's the minute I open the door, there's D&D in my face, and I'm like, I'm in heaven. I found my home.
I assume the building is so small, I thought that's where Subway stored their loaves of bread. But when we opened it, it's really long.
Okay.
Turns out there's plenty of space for a toy store in there, and the place is crammed. But the
awesome.
fact that they're only 40 minutes, an hour from us, you'd figure they'd be on our radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd never. They had only been
Interesting.
open for a few years.
Okay.
Woman owned, which I thought was really really cool because that's a rarity in what we do. Great place. The best selection of girls' toys that we saw on our entire trip. And I hate to call them girls' toys, but stuff that was geared for girls in the 80s. And I'm assuming it's just because it was a woman-owned business. She had a great selection. Cabbage Patch, great My Little Ponies.
You don't tend to see that stuff in toy
No,
stores.
a lot of toy stores are just bro toys. It's like,
And we often ask ourselves why that is. I think a lot
There's
of
a lot of
girls
different
don't
reasons.
get rid of their stuff. I still have all of my stuff. I would never sell it. And I think a lot of us feel the same way. Mom was less likely to throw out your dolls than she was to throw out your Star Wars toy that she stepped on 3 times. So I think it has something to do with it too.
and I think a lot of those places just tend to be, a guy selling his comics, a guy selling his
it.
toys,
Yeah,
and
it's the
rolls into a
demographic.
business.
It's what
Yep.
sells. There
Yeah.
are more guys guy collectors than girl collectors. It's just the truth of it. But that is changing. And this place was absolutely awesome. And again, woman.
And they were
owned, so
right
it was
off of
really
40. They weren't
cool.
on 40, but they were right off of 40, kind of
Okay.
outside Baltimore.
Yep.
There's only one place in Jersey that's kind of close to 40, and that's Crossroads.
Crossroads.
But they're still 20 minutes off of 40.
Yeah.
I feel I would have felt like we were being untrue to the 40 thing if we drove down. We
Same
love
thing.
Crossroads and,
Yeah.
and they're great people, George and Liz, but they're not. They don't actually
Not
share
really
the road
on
with us
40.
like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And same thing in Delaware.
We'd
the
have been
comic book
forcing
shop.
that peg in.
Yeah.
The comic book shop in Delaware not on
close enough
40.
to 40. But again, good friends of ours.
The further we got away from us, the further we thought we could swing off of 40, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
yeah.
you know.
And still be kind of true.
Because
to
the
what
other
we were
places,
doing.
they're just a couple hour drive from us, or an hour
Right.
drive.
Those could just be a day trip anyway.
Yeah.
There's a place in Maryland that was on 40, man, oh my God, the stuff they have. But I got to say, one thing about some places, I don't know if they price things exorbitantly so people will haggle with them. We don't want to encourage that.
Yeah.
I'd rather price it fair, so that's the
That's
thing.
it.
Some places we went to, I was embarrassed as a dealer for some of the prices they put on the things.
Because they were too high?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would never complain if it was too low.
I
They
mean,
want to sell it if it's
you,
too low.
you do run into, too, that there's places that price things and never check again. And you find things that are either way too low or way too high because the market has shifted.
Sure, that happens a lot.
You
Or
know.
places don't price at all,
Which
so
I
they
find
can-
very
It's
frustrating.
terrible. That's the worst.
It turns me off
business
because
model there is.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask
Me neither.
you 10 times for things that I'm never going to buy because I immediately feel like I'm bothering you.
Yes.
So like if I can see the price, at least on majority of the items, then I go, okay, we're on the same page. I can ask about this one thing that is
Yeah.
missing a price.
We're in the realm of reality.
But yeah, I always feel really bad. Cons, flea markets, anywhere. I hate to have to ask too many times what the
Same.
price is.
Same.
If
it's a real turn off.
I don't want to feel like I'm like being a hindrance
Yeah,
or
or
a
a
bother to
bother.
anybody who's running the
Yeah.
shop.
right.
That being
last thing
said,
you
we're
wanna do.
still pricing things from when we were closed. We accumulated so much during the 18 months we were
we have a
closed that
decent excuse,
by the time
though.
we opened, everything's not priced yet.
Right.
But that's not our MO.
And if most of the things are priced, you kind of have an idea.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there are some places where
like if you have a
nothing is
display
priced.
case and you can
Yes.
see the prices on some of the stuff, you're like,
Yes.
all right,
Yeah.
I kind of see their
stores do that
their range.
intentionally, and that's their
That's their business
operating
model.
procedure.
Yeah, I'm not a
I'm
fan.
not
of
And if
that.
you're going to do
that.
this right in front of me,
Yeah,
I honestly feel like I'm being judged. Like if he had asked, would it have been a different price?
right.
Who knows?
I don't think so. I think whatever it
I
is
don't
on
know.
eBay is what it
Yeah, I
will
don't
take like the
know.
eBay percentage off. So some places are just maybe it's a area thing. You know, maybe they don't have it. We have a lot of competition.
Yeah,
In New Jersey alone, there's probably 9 toy stores.
So many.
Right. So we can't be overpriced. Somebody will just go to the next place. We have to be competitively priced. Maybe some of these places
Yeah.
didn't need to be
That's a good
competitively
point.
and that's another thing too. Is like even if there's no cons, there's no like flea market type places. If that's the only comic shop you go to, and that's where you get all your collectibles at all, you don't even realize that the prices are so skewed sometimes, or that's your reality that you live in if you're not willing to buy
I
online.
guess. I mean, if you're not willing to buy
But
online.
it
One-
becomes a weird.
One thing we found on our trip is that on the East Coast we are spoiled.
Oh, for
Oh
sure.
my
we
God,
are
yes.
in a collector's mecca, and I know that that's a hyperbole, but it's really true where we are. We are so lucky.
Yeah.
Because Kansas, from what you said, from Kansas, Denver to Kansas, there was literally nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know what
We only on that
nerds
sliver
do
of
out
highway.
there.
We didn't go north,
yeah.
south, or whatever.
Right.
But I'm assuming.
We talked to a lot of people too, and the culture is just different. You
I
know?
asked a woman
Yeah.
at a antique store. 'Cause
Where
we
are the
stopped in
toys?
every antique. There's plenty of antique malls.
Yes,
Yeah.
tons of
And
them.
around here, every antique mall has some toys.
Yeah.
It's
out there, not so much.
out there. And so I asked. I said,
Where are the toys?
my exact words. I said, "Excuse me, where are all your toys?" And she was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, like your GI Joes and stuff. She's like, "Well, not." First of all, a lot of people. Let me get that.
yeah, stop the accent.
First of all, a
please.
lot of people out here had big families, to because it was rural or agricultural. So often, if the family had toys, they got passed around so much between
Until it was destroyed.
Until it
There
was
was
destroyed.
nothing
Yeah.
left.
Or, and this is an exact quote from the woman in Russell,
Russell, Kansas,
home of Bob Dole.
home of Bob Dole,
She said,
birthplace.
or we just told them to go outside and play with sticks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right. Well, the
right.
culture's different.
Fair
They
enough.
grew up differently than we
I
grew
get
up.
it. I get it.
Plus, there's 3,000 of us per square mile here crammed on the East Coast.
It's not
there's
like that
3
out
people
there.
per square mile out there.
Yeah.
There's just not as much stuff.
Not as much so.
Even architecture has an impact too, because I have some friends that are collectors in Texas, and they said no one has a basement in Texas basically, and everything in your attic fries,
Oh, wow.
so it makes it harder to hang on to stuff.
Yeah, so either garbage
Yep.
or it's just gone. It got
Yeah,
passed.
it
to
just
somebody.
gets,
Wow, that's so
like
you
that
don't think about
affects
that.
it.
Yeah, I guess, a lot of things affect the collector's culture. And I think we have it best out here.
Yeah.
Even more than the West Coast
really
because
do.
the toy companies used to be out here.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Ohio is a great place as far as start going inward a little bit, but the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania border.
That's
toy
why the
stores,
Chicago
comic
toy show
shops.
is so humongous because Ohio used to feed all that.
Yeah.
And Chicago has tons of toy stores.
we are lucky where we are.
Yeah, I think once you get out of the Midwest, the culture is, and that's the gist of the trip, and that we were kind of taking the temperature of the culture. We wanted to see
Yeah.
what it was like not here, and we got a good idea of it. It's a big country, and as far as being a collector, we are lucky to
We're
be
very
where
lucky.
we are
Yeah.
in the Northeast. No
Blessed.
doubt about it.
Blessed.
Yeah.
It's great. There's a lot of great things to see out there. We saw some beautiful
Oh,
natural
absolutely.
wonders.
Yeah.
But as far as toy hunting, we tried yard sailing in Kansas, in Lawrence, Kansas.
That was horrible.
If you're
Yard
sailing
sailing's
around here,
real hit or miss though.
it is
really
real hit or
is.
miss. But I mean,
It was
again, there's
real miss.
something.
Anything. Give me anything.
But it was only one day. You can't judge an entire
Yeah.
thing on one
No,
day.
it's-
But also, Terry told us from 1313. He said, "Don't yard sail around. There is no yard sailing around here."
Yeah. It's just not. That culture doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get rid of your stuff. I don't understand people who can do that. It's just not in my DNA.
Or there's just not as much stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you only had a few if you only had a few action figures as a kid, the chances that those ones got overplayed with and worn out
It's good.
goes up.
Yeah.
Correct.
Also, you have a lot of regional type things that affect your play. Like I have cousins that were farmers. Well, they played with a lot of those Ertl metal tractors.
Sure, yes.
And so like those
Rust.
are what they were playing with.
We saw a
you
lot.
know?
Actually, if you want to consider them toys, we did see a bunch of those in antique stores.
Although, honestly, as far as Hess trucks go, I know we always joke about those.
They're regional.
They are. We didn't realize.
Oh, because Hess isn't necessarily everywhere.
Coast.
Yeah, it was definitely an
makes
East Coast
sense.
thing.
Yeah, we didn't start seeing them until we started getting to the Midwest.
Yeah.
A lot of, I think because of the amount of people here and families and stuff like that, you don't see a lot of mint on card stuff out there because at Christmas time, you tell me you didn't get doubles of figures.
Right.
That happened here a lot more because there's a lot more toys being bought, a lot more family members crammed into an area. So, you'd end up opening one weekquay and
Getting another
putting
one
the other
from
weekquay
Aunt
in the
Sarah.
drawer.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So yeah, maybe if we write a book, we'll put all that in it.
I mean, it sounds like an amazing trip. I would love to do something like that.
was really
I've never
cool.
done anything that far. I've done like we'll turn this trip to a con into a 2-day thing or a 3-day thing.
That's how we started the same way. Yeah,
But that's
And
great.
we did that in such an area. We had to keep branching out bigger and bigger to find things
Just
we
find
hadn't
new
been
things.
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've done the East Coast to death.
We've been all
even
the way
up to Maine,
Yeah.
out to Chicago. So we've decided, like from now on, we're going to pick a city, fly to the city, and drive home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to that
That's-
point now.
Yeah, it's our yearly thing.
That's cool.
It's our, even though we're still doing toys, collecting toys, looking at toys, we live it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is our time off, and we still enjoy doing it. Thank God, because we don't enjoy doing it.
If we didn't enjoy what we do, we wouldn't do it.
I thought this earlier. You ever see the movie 300?
Yes.
So there's a scene in 300
You're bringing this up?
where the Spartans are on
to
their way
300.
to Thermopylae, right? They're going to fight to guard against the invaders into Greece, and then I think some of the Athenian army shows up and they meet at like a crossroads, and the Athenian army is like, "Oh my God, there's only 300 of you. What are you going to do?" And Leonidas is like, "What do you do for a living?" He's like, "Well, I'm a farmer." And he's like, "What do you do?" And he's
I'm
like,
a potter.
"I'm a potter." And he's like, "Spartans, what do you do?" And they are all warriors.
Yeah.
They live it.
Yeah.
We are the Spartans. You know what I mean? We live it.
I love it. I love it.
We are not
We need to get
part-timers.
t-shirts.
It's what we do all the time. So
This
great.
is it. This is us 24/7.
it is.
Kevin, thank you so much for having us on.
Yes.
You're
I have
ending
to
the show
say-
like there might be
I'm
more.
not. No, I mean we could keep going forever. I just want to
Did we
thank
touch
you
all the
again.
bases?
I have a long list of places we went.
No.
and we didn't
Kevin's
talk about
bases, not
everything.
your
You did hit my bases. Do you want to talk about your mass toy in any more
Oh, yeah,
detail?
yeah, just
I feel
mention
like
it
No, it's another
we
museum
tried to
piece.
touch on it a
Another
couple
museum
times.
piece that
Just like we
yeah.
found
Dignitary.
Dignitary
Yeah.
at Super
Which is
7. We
cool.
found, we're trying to round out the Farpoint Museum.
This is from the tail end of the line, right?
Yeah,
Split
Series 4,
seconds.
Split
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah.
Tough. They all came with the clone. And it was a decent deal.
Okay.
The guy with TV Toys.
Retro
Retro
TV
TV
Toys.
super nice guy. Forget his name. We'll tag him. But he had some great stuff there, and we're all kind of the same person.
I bought a lot of stuff for myself
And
there.
I saw that and I was like, and you never see him anywhere in any store. I could have went on eBay and bought one. Right. But there's something about seeing it in person. And I always say this. I probably have said it in every episode. There's nothing that we ever buy that you can't find online if you're patient enough.
It's about the experience.
But it's about the experience
And we
of
had a
buying
great
it.
experience at Retro TV Toys.
Yeah, we had a great experience there. He had a dog that was we thought we were there for an hour
Yeah.
before we realized there was a 200-pound Mastiff there.
Whoa.
That's how good this dog was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sitting behind the counter. Like a kid walked over and was like doing this, and I was like, "What's that kid doing? Oh my God.
What is that kid doing? He's petting a statue.
He's petting one of the
the biggest
dogs
dog I've
from
ever seen in my life.
Ghostbusters. It was
I bought myself a 3 3/4 fourth Doctor Tom Baker action figure there
rare
on card.
import.
I had never
vintage.
seen one in
Cool.
person before.
Didn't know it existed.
Just a bunch of weird
3
stuff.
3/4. I didn't know they did it.
I would love to go toy hunting like in Europe
or
or like South America.
so-
But I don't even know how you try to like do that.
Dude,
Do you know what I
it's-
mean? Like the planning of that is
What's
so
great
crazy.
is that over there they had stuff that we never got.
Right.
Oh,
That's
of
that's
course.
why it
And
would be so
stuff,
great.
yeah, and stuff that's
Yeah.
rare for them is common to us. So
Yeah, we have a friend, Johnny Monkey Hawkins, who runs Monkey's
Monkey's
Emporium
Emporium
in London. And they have a huge need for
He-Man.
which wasn't as produced there. I'm sure it made it over.
Yeah.
But
just
actually,
not
there's
as
some rare
big.
He-Man stuff from the Europe. But
Yeah.
but he has more of a call for it than we do here. But we need power of
Yeah.
force here.
Yeah.
We need some of that tri-logo stuff.
Yeah.
So we do a back and forth sometimes. He's bought some great stuff from us.
Yeah. One of our VIPs.
What you need if you're going to do that is kind of an ambassador.
Yeah, you need somebody that kind of knows.
You can't jump in blindly.
No.
We went to Amsterdam and we're like, where do you go for toys? And, it was like banging your head against the wall because you really don't know where to go. You got to find some toy people first.
I went on a trip to Europe many years ago, but it was like a tour, like pre-planned. Like I didn't have to do any of the work.
Yeah. You
we were
paid
just
for a
gonna hit
tour,
all these
yes.
cities, and like I hit a comic store in Amsterdam, which it was neat, but it wasn't really like toys.
Yeah.
I bought a comic that was not in English, which I thought was neat.
Sure, part of the
And,
experience.
Yeah, and
remember.
I was in Germany one time on a college trip, actually over spring break the one year, and there was like a flea market on a Saturday, and I went to it just like hoping to stumble on like an Action Force figure or
That's
something.
interesting.
There was nothing there, but I was like, maybe gotta go check it out.
What you need to do if you're at least in the UK is car boot sales.
Yeah.
Which is like a garage rummage sale
Yeah.
flea market thing where everybody comes with their opens
Stuff
their
in their
trunks. or cars. It's
trunks.
like a flea market here.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've never done one. I've bought some toys overseas, but like nothing vintage or weird or rare. Kind of like a Muck Time, Doctor Who stuff.
I got a pony from Johnny last time we were over there.
Yeah, but that's because we knew a guy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like a direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, I mean, he has a great little shop in London.
Yeah.
And we stumbled on that accidentally. We met him, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, you got to know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what is so impressive to me about your trip. Even though it's here, which is a little easier to research, you guys didn't really do a ton of research on which stops you wanted to do, and I just think that's cool. Like I'm always impressed when people can kind of make that plan or stumble upon the plan.
Riffing every day was fun.
We didn't know. This is why, though. We didn't know where we were going to end up day to day.
Or when, yeah.
Well, we knew like we were going to be on Route 40.
Yeah.
But we didn't know how far we'd make it. Some days we only made it 150 miles.
Yeah.
Because we were
Okay.
in antique stores and stuff. So the night we would land where we were landing, we'd go on Google and be like, all right, what's in this town
Tomorrow,
or
this
what's
is where
coming
we're gonna
up?
be.
And like in Kansas, we're like, well,
Looks like it's
just
more
another
prairie.
day of driving.
Yeah.
But like once you get to a bigger city, well, there's 5 antique stores.
Yeah.
We really wanted to score at antique stores and like flea market places more so than a toy place because we thought we'd find better deals.
Yeah, and it's shooting ducks in a barrel when you're in the toy store to
Sure.
find stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
there.
exciting when you find something in a thrift store or an
Which,
antique store.
once I realized that strawberry shortcake, that was, like I said, the best thing we found on our trip, and that was like a thrifty, antique kind of place.
2 things. With the amount of toy stores we stopped in, it inspired us. It showed us, gave us ideas about things we could do better.
Okay.
And showed us some of the things that we're doing right,
Mm.
which was super cool. Right? Like, of
Yeah.
course, we all take ideas from each other.
Yeah.
And there was stuff that we took from it that, like, oh, man, that's a great idea. Like, oh, I love that you're doing this. And some things we're like, oh, man, I'm glad we do it this way.
Yeah.
And number 2 is when we got home and first of all, we drove right by our store because we followed Route 40 right to Atlantic City. Middle of the night, got out of the car and walked right to the Atlantic Ocean because we started it with our feet in the
Oh,
Pacific.
perfect.
So it was like bookends.
We
And
couldn't
dude, I got
stop.
choked up. I
Yeah.
mean, I grew up in Atlantic City, and Route 40, if you don't know this, Route 40 runs through the heart of our part of New Jersey. It really is the main road. It turns into Black Horse Pike and all that.
Yeah.
But growing up, you don't even think about that. You don't even think that this is this road.
It didn't hit me until we were literally 10 minutes from home. I have lived within a mile of Route 40 my entire life.
Okay.
And
It never hit me.
it's literally the center of Atlantic County, which is where we live in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So after this giant road trip, we go through the town I grew up in. I used to walk on that road to my high school over the bridge. And, after a big trip like that, the emotion hits you. So I'm on the beach I used to go to as a kid at the end of this once-in-a-lifetime trip.
Yeah.
It was awesomely emotional. It felt like a great bookend. And when we got back to the store the next day, it solidified like, wow, I love what we do.
That's really cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I also had a similar experience, seeing the entire country and seeing other places that do what we do and how they do it versus how we do it. It just reaffirmed the fact that I love what we do, and
And we definitely do it our way.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of, and not taking away. I mean, there's not a lot of opportunity to have. Our building is a standalone house,
Right.
And from the outside, it just looks like a weird house, but the inside we do it our way. But it's totally different than any strip mall, any mall.
Right.
We are definitely unique in our own way, and man, it felt great. It felt great at the end. Like I was afraid I'd get home and be like, well, I'm giving this up. But I got home and we were like
I never
reinvigorated.
felt like
That's
I
cool.
was going to feel like that.
I feel like that sometimes.
I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming. This was awesome. I loved.
Thank you for inviting us, and thank you for the amazing bingo idea, because it really made our trip like that much more like
It was
another
cool.
layer of awesome.
I was
fun.
enjoying it, watching all your pictures come in and things like
exciting to
that.
find new things.
It was great. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging on the peg with us, and we'll see you next time.